The stars twinkled in the night sky as Earth faced its darkest hour. High above the planet, an alien fleet loomed like a storm cloud ready to strike. The Krylos had arrived without warning, their massive ships blocking out the light of the moon. They called themselves conquerors and demanded that humanity surrender or face destruction. Panic spread across the globe as people watched the news, unsure if this was the end. In the United Nations Space Command Headquarters, officers scrambled to respond. Screens flickered with images of the alien armada, hundreds of ships bristling with weapons far beyond anything humans had ever seen. Captain Ryan Carter stood silently in the middle of the chaos, his eyes fixed on the main monitor. He was a tall man with short brown hair and a calm demeanor, but inside, he felt the weight of the world pressing down on him. Beside him, Lieutenant Emily Dawson adjusted her headset, trying to make sense of the flood of information coming in. "Captain," said a voice over the intercom, "orders are clear. All vessels must retreat immediately. Engaging the Krylos is suicide." Ryan clenched his jaw. Retreat? How could they run when billions of lives depended on them? His ship, the Aurora Asterisk, was no ordinary vessel. It carried experimental technology, including plasma cannons and a cloaking device still in testing. But even with these tools, the odds were stacked heavily against them. The Krylos fleet was simply too powerful. Emily turned to him, her blue eyes filled with concern. "Sir, we can't just leave Earth undefended. If we pull back now, it's over. We have to do something." Ryan nodded slowly. She was right. Running wouldn't solve anything. The aliens would chase them down eventually. No, they needed a plan, a bold one. He glanced at the crew around him, each person waiting for guidance. They trusted him to lead, and he couldn't let them down. Back on Earth, fear gripped every corner of society. In a small town, the Miller family huddled together in their basement. Mr. Miller held his wife's hand while their two children clung to each other under a blanket. Outside, the streets were empty except for emergency vehicles rushing to evacuation centers. News anchors spoke in urgent tones, urging people to stay calm, but their voices betrayed the gravity of the situation. Meanwhile, aboard the Aurora Asterisk, preparations continued. Chief Engineer Alan Brooks worked tirelessly in the engine room, ensuring the ship was ready for whatever lay ahead. Nearby, Communications Officer Lisa Harper monitored transmissions from the Krylos fleet. Her fingers flew across the keyboard as she translated strange signals into usable data. As the hours passed, Ryan made a decision. He would disobey orders. Instead of retreating, the Aurora Asterisk would move closer to the enemy. Using its cloaking device, they could gather intelligence and perhaps find a weakness in the Krylos defenses. It was risky, but doing nothing felt worse. When Ryan shared his plan with the crew, there was a moment of silence. Then, one by one, they voiced their support. Emily gave him a determined nod, and Alan promised to keep the engines running no matter what. Even Lisa, usually quiet, spoke up. "We're with you, Captain," she said firmly. With the crew united, Ryan set the course. The Aurora Asterisk slipped away from the rest of the fleet, disappearing into the vastness of space. As they approached the Krylos blockade, tension filled the air. Every alarm, every movement on the radar, made hearts race. But Ryan stayed focused. This wasn't just about winning a battle. It was about proving that humanity wouldn't go down without a fight. And so, with Earth watching and hoping, the Aurora Asterisk prepared to take on the impossible. Whatever happened next, one thing was certain. The Krylos had underestimated what one human vessel, and its crew, could do. The Aurora Asterisk drifted silently through the cold emptiness of space, its cloaking device rendering it invisible to the Krylos fleet. Captain Ryan Carter gripped the edge of his seat as he watched the alien ships grow larger on the monitor. The Krylos blockade was a massive wall of metal and energy, glowing faintly against the blackness. Each ship bristled with weapons that could destroy Earth's entire military in moments. Ryan felt a chill run down his spine but pushed the fear aside. He had to focus. Beside him, Lieutenant Emily Dawson adjusted the controls, her fingers moving quickly over the console. She glanced at Ryan, her expression tense. "Cloaking holding steady," she said softly. "But we're pushing the limits. If we stay hidden for too long, the system might fail." Ryan nodded. "We'll only need it for a little while longer. Keep us steady." In the engine room, Chief Engineer Alan Brooks wiped sweat from his brow as he monitored the power levels. The cloaking device drained energy faster than expected, and he worked tirelessly to keep everything balanced. If the engines failed now, they'd be sitting ducks. Nearby, Communications Officer Lisa Harper listened intently to the chatter coming from the Krylos fleet. Their language sounded harsh and guttural, but Lisa's translation software began piecing together fragments of their plans. "They're preparing some kind of ultimatum," Lisa reported over the intercom. "Looks like they're about to broadcast something big." As if on cue, the main screen flickered to life. A tall, insect-like creature appeared, its sharp features illuminated by an eerie blue light. This was Commander Zoreth, leader of the Krylos forces. His voice was deep and cold, sending shivers through the crew of the Aurora *. "Humans," Zoreth began, his words translated automatically into English. "You are weak. Your planet is primitive. Surrender now or face annihilation. You have one solar cycle to comply." The transmission ended, leaving silence in its wake. Ryan clenched his fists. The arrogance in Zoreth's tone made his blood boil. These aliens thought humanity was nothing more than prey. But Ryan knew better. Humanity had survived wars, plagues, and disasters. They weren't going to roll over and die. Emily turned to him, her voice steady despite the tension. "What do we do now?" "We gather intel," Ryan replied. "Lisa, send out a probe. Let's see what we're dealing with." Lisa nodded and launched a small reconnaissance drone toward the heart of the Krylos formation. The probe moved cautiously, avoiding detection as it scanned the enemy ships. Data streamed back to the Aurora *, revealing crucial information about the Krylos weapons systems and shield technology. Ryan studied the reports carefully, his mind racing. There were weaknesses, small ones, but enough to exploit if they acted quickly. Meanwhile, back on Earth, people watched Zoreth's message on every screen. Fear gripped cities worldwide, and protests erupted outside government buildings. In New York City, Sarah Miller clutched her young son's hand as they watched the broadcast from their apartment window. "Mommy, are we gonna be okay?" the boy asked, his voice trembling. Sarah forced a smile, though tears welled up in her eyes. "Of course, sweetheart. We're strong. We'll get through this." Far away, aboard the Aurora *, Ryan shared similar thoughts. He addressed his crew over the intercom, his voice firm but calm. "Listen up, everyone. The Krylos think they've already won. They don't know who we are or what we're capable of. We're not just fighting for ourselves. We're fighting for everyone back home. For families like the Millers. For Earth. We can do this." His words lifted spirits among the crew. Even Alan, exhausted from hours of work, cracked a small smile. "Let's show these bugs what humans are made of," he muttered under his breath. With the probe's data in hand, Ryan devised a risky plan. Using the Aurora's experimental plasma cannons, they would target a key Krylos dreadnought, the largest ship in the blockade. If they could disable it, they might create chaos in the enemy ranks. It was dangerous, but staying hidden forever wasn't an option either. As the Aurora * positioned itself for the attack, Ryan felt a strange mix of fear and excitement. This was it, the moment they would strike back. Whatever happened next, one thing was certain: the Krylos had no idea what was coming. The crew of the Aurora * worked with quiet urgency as Captain Ryan Carter outlined his plan. The experimental plasma cannons were their best chance to hit the Krylos where it hurt, but no one knew if they would work in real combat. The weapons had never been tested against a target like this before. Still, Ryan didn't have the luxury of waiting. Every second counted. Lieutenant Emily Dawson double-checked the targeting systems, her hand steady despite the tension in the air. "We've got one shot at this," she said, glancing at Ryan. "If we miss, they'll know we're here." Ryan nodded. "Then we don't miss." Chief Engineer Alan Brooks was already in the engine room, tweaking the power flow to ensure the cannons received enough energy. He muttered to himself as he worked, beads of sweat rolling down his face. "Come on, baby. Don't let me down now," he whispered, patting the side of the console. The plasma cannons required an immense amount of power, and Alan worried that firing them might overload the ship's systems. But there was no turning back now. Meanwhile, Communications Officer Lisa Harper kept her ear on the Krylos chatter. She listened carefully for any sign that the aliens suspected the Aurora's presence. So far, everything seemed calm. The Krylos were too busy preparing their ultimatum deadline to notice the invisible threat lurking nearby. Ryan took a deep breath and addressed the crew over the intercom. "This is it, team. We've trained for moments like this. Trust yourselves, trust each other, and trust the ship. Together, we can do this." His words gave everyone a boost of confidence. Even Lisa, who usually stayed in the background, felt a surge of determination. She typed furiously on her console, rerouting additional power to the cloaking device. If they could stay hidden just a little longer, they might pull this off. As the Aurora moved into position, Ryan studied the enemy dreadnought through the monitor. It was enormous, easily 10 times the size of the Aurora. Its surface bristled with weapons, and its shields shimmered faintly, protecting it from harm. But thanks to the data from the probe, Ryan knew exactly where to aim. A weak point in the shield grid meant the plasma cannons could punch through, if they fired at the right angle. "Ready?" Ryan asked Emily. She nodded. "Ready." Ryan gripped the controls tightly. His heart pounded in his chest as he lined up the shot. For a brief moment, he thought about Earth, the billions of people counting on him, families like the Millers, huddled together in fear. He couldn't let them down. Firing in 3, 2, 1. The Aurora shuddered violently as the plasma cannons roared to life. A blinding beam of energy shot out, piercing through the darkness of space. It struck the Krylos dreadnought dead on, hitting the weak spot in its shields. For a split second, nothing happened. Then, with a brilliant flash, part of the dreadnought's hull exploded, sending debris flying in all directions. The impact sent shockwaves through the Krylos fleet. Alarms blared across their ships as confusion spread. Commander Zoreth's voice crackled over the comms, shouting orders in his alien tongue. Clearly, the Krylos hadn't expected such a bold attack. Back on the Aurora, the crew erupted into cheers. They'd done it. They'd struck a blow against the invaders. But Ryan quickly raised a hand to silence them. "We're not done yet," he warned. "They'll be looking for us now. We need to move." Emily scanned the monitors nervously. Sure enough, several Krylos ships began scanning the area, searching for the source of the attack. The cloaking device held firm, masking the Aurora from view. For now, Ellen reported from the engine room. "Shields are holding, but we took some strain from the recoil. Another shot like that, and we might lose power." Ryan nodded grimly. One successful strike wasn't enough. They needed to keep pushing, keep striking until the Krylos realized humanity wouldn't go down without a fight. But how long could they keep this up? As the Aurora slipped away from the wreckage of the dreadnought, Ryan glanced at his crew. Each face showed a mix of exhaustion and determination. They were outnumbered and outgunned, but they weren't beaten yet, not by a long shot. The Aurora raced through the darkness of space, its engines humming softly as it tried to put distance between itself and the chaos it had caused. The Krylos fleet was in disarray, their once perfect formation now fractured. Alarms blared across their ships, and Commander Zoreth's voice growled over the comms, barking orders in his harsh alien language. But despite the confusion, the aliens were quick to adapt. Search beams swept through the void, hunting for the invisible attacker that had dared to strike. On board the Aurora tension filled every corner of the ship. Captain Ryan Carter leaned forward in his seat, his eyes scanning the monitors for any sign of pursuit. The cloaking device was still active, masking them from view, but he knew it wouldn't last forever. Already, the system was straining under the constant use, and Chief Engineer Alan Brooks reported flickers in the power grid. "We're pushing the limits," Alan said over the intercom, his voice tight with worry. "If we don't ease off soon, the cloak might fail completely." Ryan clenched his jaw. "We can't ease off yet. Not until we're clear." Lieutenant Emily Dawson worked quickly at her station, plotting a course that would keep them hidden while avoiding detection. Her fingers flew over the controls as she adjusted their trajectory. "There's a cluster of asteroids nearby," she said. "If we can slip behind them, we might buy ourselves some time." Ryan nodded. "Do it." The Aurora changed direction, weaving carefully toward the asteroid field. The rocks floated silently in space, their jagged surfaces reflecting faint light from a distant star. As the ship slipped into their shadow, the Krylos search beams passed harmlessly overhead. For now, they were safe, but only for now. Back on Earth, people watched news reports with a mix of hope and dread. Footage of the damaged Krylos dreadnought had been captured by satellites, and analysts speculated about who or what had caused the attack. Some believed it was a secret weapon developed by the military. Others whispered about a lone hero standing against impossible odds. No one knew the truth, but the idea that someone was fighting back gave humanity a glimmer of hope. Meanwhile, aboard the Aurora Communications Officer Lisa Harper listened closely to the Krylos chatter. Their frustration was evident, and Zoreth's tone grew angrier with each passing moment. "They're calling us cowards," Lisa reported. "Zoreth says they'll hunt us down no matter what it takes." Ryan smirked faintly. Let them try. But the situation was far from stable. The plasma cannons had drained a significant amount of energy, leaving the ship vulnerable. If the Krylos found them, the Aurora wouldn't stand a chance in a direct fight. They needed another plan, a way to hit the enemy again before they could regroup. Emily studied the data from the probe once more, searching for another weak point in the Krylos defenses. She pointed to a smaller ship near the center of the formation. "That one looks like a command relay," she said. "If we take it out, it might disrupt their communications." Ryan considered the idea. It was risky, but so was staying hidden. "Alan, how are the cannons holding up?" "They're shaky," Alan replied. "One more shot, maybe two if we're lucky. After that, we're running on fumes." Ryan made his decision. "Then we make this shot count." The Aurora emerged from the asteroid field, moving swiftly toward the target. The crew held their breath as they approached, knowing they were exposed and vulnerable. Emily lined up the shot, her hand steady despite the danger. Ryan counted down quietly, his voice calm but firm. "Fire." The plasma cannons roared again, sending another searing beam of energy into space. This time, the Krylos were ready. Defensive turrets swiveled toward the source of the attack, firing blindly in an attempt to hit the invisible foe. The Aurora rocked violently as a stray blast grazed its shields, nearly destabilizing the cloaking device. But the shot connected. The command relay exploded in a burst of light, sending shockwaves through the Krylos fleet. Ships faltered as their communication systems went offline, creating even more chaos. For a brief moment, the tide seemed to turn. Ryan exhaled sharply, relief washing over him. "Good work, everyone." But the victory was short-lived. Warning lights flashed across the bridge as alarms blared. The cloaking device had failed, exposing the Aurora to the enemy. Krylos ships turned toward them, weapons charging. "Hold on," Ryan said, gripping the controls tightly. "This isn't over yet." The Aurora was exposed, its cloaking device flickering out just as the Krylos fleet locked onto its position. Bright beams of energy streaked through space, narrowly missing the ship as Ryan Carter pushed the engines to their limits. The small vessel twisted and turned, dodging blasts that lit up the darkness around them. On the bridge, Lieutenant Emily Dawson gripped her console tightly, her knuckles white as she worked to keep the ship steady. "We can't outrun them forever," Emily said, her voice strained. "Their weapons are too fast." Ryan didn't respond immediately. His focus was on the monitors, calculating every move. The Krylos ships were closing in, surrounding the Aurora like predators circling their prey. Commander Zoreth's voice crackled over the comms, filled with fury. "You dare attack us. You will regret this insult." Ryan ignored him. There was no time for words now, only action. He glanced at Chief Engineer Alan Brooks, who was already running diagnostics in the engine room. "Alan, how much power do we have left?" "Not enough," Alan replied grimly. "Shields are down to 30%, and the plasma cannons are overheating. Another hit, and we're done for." Lisa Harper, still monitoring communications, spoke up urgently. "Captain, I'm picking up something new. Some of the Krylos ships are breaking off. They're heading toward Earth." Ryan's stomach sank. If the Krylos reached Earth, billions would die. He couldn't let that happen. But how could one small ship stop an entire alien fleet? Then it hit him. A desperate idea formed in his mind. "Emily, set a course back toward the main dreadnought," he ordered. Emily stared at him in disbelief. "Back? Are you serious? We'll be torn apart." "I know," Ryan said firmly. "But if we can draw their fire away from Earth, maybe we can buy some time. And if we take out that dreadnought again, it might cripple their entire operation." The crew hesitated, but they trusted Ryan. Emily adjusted the controls, sending the Aurora hurtling back toward the heart of the Krylos fleet. The enemy ships opened fire immediately, their shots slamming into the Aurora's weakened shields. Alarms blared as sparks flew across the bridge, and the ship shook violently with each impact. In the engine room, Alan worked frantically to reroute power to the shields. "Hold together, baby," he muttered, his hands flying over the console. Sweat dripped from his forehead as he fought to keep the systems online. Meanwhile, Lisa intercepted more transmissions. She translated quickly, piecing together Zoreth's orders. "He's furious about the command relay being destroyed. He wants the Aurora captured alive so they can study our technology." Ryan smirked despite the danger. "Let him try." The Aurora zigzagged through the enemy formation, drawing fire away from Earth. Explosions erupted around them as the Krylos focused all their attention on the tiny human vessel. Ryan spotted an opening, a gap in the dreadnought's defenses, and seized the opportunity. "Plasma cannons ready?" he asked sharply. "Barely," Alan replied. "One shot, maybe two. That's all we've got." "Do it," Ryan said. Emily lined up the shot, her hands trembling slightly but her aim true. The plasma cannons fired once more, sending a blistering beam of energy directly at the dreadnought. This time, the blast struck true, piercing deep into the ship's core. A massive explosion followed, engulfing the dreadnought in flames and sending shockwaves rippling through the fleet. The Krylos ships faltered, their coordination shattered. Zoreth's voice roared over the comms, laced with rage and disbelief. "What have you done?" But the Aurora wasn't finished yet. With the dreadnought gone, the rest of the fleet began to retreat, regrouping far from Earth's orbit. Ryan allowed himself a brief moment of relief before turning to his crew. "Everyone okay?" he asked. Bruised and battered but alive, the crew nodded. Emily managed a weak smile. "We did it, Captain." For now, they had won. But the cost had been high. The asterisk Aurora asterisk was badly damaged, drifting through space with failing systems. As Earth celebrated the unexpected victory, Ryan knew their fight was far from over. The Krylos wouldn't give up easily, and humanity would need more than one brave ship to survive what came next. The asterisk Aurora asterisk floated silently in space, its systems failing and its crew battered but alive. Captain Ryan Carter sat slumped in his seat, exhaustion etched on his face. The ship's lights flickered weakly, casting long shadows across the bridge. Despite the damage, the crew worked tirelessly to keep the vessel operational. Chief Engineer Alan Brooks was elbow-deep in wires in the engine room, trying to stabilize what little power remained. His hands were burned and blistered, but he didn't stop. "We're running on fumes here," Alan muttered into the intercom. "If we don't get help soon, we won't make it back." Lieutenant Emily Dawson nodded grimly as she monitored their position. "Earth's forces are mobilizing," she said, "but they're still hours away. We'll have to hold out until then." Ryan clenched his jaw. Holding out wasn't going to be easy. The Krylos fleet hadn't retreated completely. They were regrouping, licking their wounds after the destruction of their dreadnought. Commander Zoreth's voice crackled over the comms once more, filled with venom. "You humans think this is over. You've only delayed your fate." Ryan ignored him. He trusted his crew to handle communications while he focused on keeping them alive. Lissa Harper, still at her station, intercepted messages from the Krylos ships. She reported that Zoreth was rallying his forces for another assault. "He's planning something big," Lisa said nervously. "We need to move." Ryan knew she was right. Staying in one place made them an easy target, but moving meant risking further damage to the already crippled ship. Every decision felt like a gamble now. Still, doing nothing wasn't an option. "Emily, plot a course toward the nearest moon," Ryan ordered. "We'll use it as cover until reinforcements arrive." Emily nodded and adjusted the controls. The asterisk Aurora asterisk limped forward, its engines sputtering with each burst of thrust. The crew held their breath as they approached the moon's rocky surface, hoping the Krylos wouldn't spot them. For a few tense minutes, it seemed to work. The alien ships passed by without noticing the small human vessel hiding in the shadow of the moon. Back on Earth, news of the asterisk Aurora's asterisk heroics spread like wildfire. People cheered in the streets, waving flags and chanting the names of the crew. President Laura Bennett addressed the nation, praising the bravery of Ryan and his team. "Today, we saw what humanity is capable of," she declared. "One ship, one crew, standing against impossible odds. This is our spirit, our strength." But aboard the asterisk Aurora asterisk, there was no time for celebration. The ship's condition worsened with each passing minute. Sparks flew in the engine room as Alan struggled to keep the life support system online. "I'm doing my best, Captain," he said through gritted teeth, "but this bucket's falling apart." Ryan patted him on the shoulder. "You're doing great, Alan. Just hang in there." Suddenly, Lisa's voice broke through the tension. "Captain, I'm picking up a distress signal. It's coming from a nearby colony planet, one of ours." Ryan frowned. "What's happening?" "The Krylos are attacking," Lisa replied. "The colonists are trapped, and they're begging for help." Ryan looked at his crew. They were injured, exhausted, and outmatched. Helping the colony would mean flying straight into enemy territory again, but abandoning innocent people wasn't an option. "We're not leaving them behind," Ryan said firmly. "Set a course for the colony. Let's finish what we started." The crew exchanged worried glances but didn't argue. They trusted Ryan to lead them, even when the odds seemed insurmountable. Emily adjusted the controls, guiding the asterisk Aurora asterisk toward the besieged planet. As they approached, they could see the devastation, smoke rising from burning buildings and Krylos fighters patrolling the skies. Ryan took a deep breath. "This is it, team. One last push." With every ounce of courage and determination, the asterisk Aurora asterisk prepared to face the Krylos once more. Whatever happened next, They knew they had already changed the course of history. Humanity wasn't backing down. Not today. Not ever. The Aurora approached the colony planet cautiously, its battered frame barely holding together. Captain Ryan Carter stared at the destruction below, his heart heavy with anger and resolve. Krylos fighters patrolled the skies, their weapons trained on the helpless colonists. Fires burned across the landscape, and smoke choked the air. The distress signal grew louder as they came closer, filled with desperate pleas for help. "We can't let them win," Ryan said quietly, his voice firm despite the chaos around him. "Not here. Not now." Lieutenant Emily Dawson worked quickly to plot a course that would allow the Aurora to strike without being overwhelmed. Chief Engineer Alan Brooks was in the engine room, patching up what he could of the failing systems. "Captain," he called over the intercom, "the plasma cannons are almost useless, but I've rerouted enough power for one last shot. After that, we're done." Ryan nodded. "Then we make it count." The Aurora dove into the atmosphere, drawing immediate fire from the Krylos fighters. The ship rocked violently as beams of energy slammed into its already weakened shields. Alarms blared, and sparks flew across the bridge, but the crew held their ground. Lissa Harper monitored communications, relaying updates about enemy movements. "They're focusing on us now," Lisa reported. "The colonists are trying to evacuate, but the Krylos are blocking their escape routes." Ryan clenched his fists. "We'll clear a path for them." Emily maneuvered the Aurora with precision, dodging blasts while lining up their final shot. The target was a massive Krylos transport ship, loaded with weapons meant to crush the colony completely. If they could destroy it, they might turn the tide. Ryan gave the order, his voice steady. "Fire." The plasma cannons roared one last time, sending a searing beam of energy straight into the transport ship. The explosion was massive, lighting up the sky and sending shockwaves through the area. Debris rained down as the Krylos forces scrambled to regroup. Their formation broke apart, giving the colonists a chance to flee. But the victory came at a cost. The Aurora was hit hard by retaliatory fire, its engines sputtering as it struggled to stay airborne. Smoke filled the corridors, and the lights flickered dangerously. Ryan shouted orders, keeping everyone focused. "Hold on. We're almost there." Just as it seemed like all hope was lost, reinforcements arrived. Earth's fleet, mobilized after the earlier attack on the Dreadnought, descended upon the scene. General Nathan Hayes led the charge, his voice booming over the comms. "This is General Hayes. Hold your positions. We're taking them down." The combined human forces launched a fierce assault, driving the Krylos back. Commander Zorith, furious and humiliated, ordered a full retreat. His ships flowed into deep space, leaving behind a trail of wreckage. For the first time since the invasion began, humanity had won. As the battle ended, Ryan slumped into his seat, drained but relieved. The Aurora drifted toward the surface of the colony planet, where grateful survivors gathered to cheer the brave crew. Emily smiled weakly as she guided the ship to a safe landing. "We did it," she whispered. "Against all odds, we did it." Back on Earth, celebrations erupted worldwide. President Laura Bennett honored Ryan and his team, calling them heroes who had saved not just the colony but the entire planet. The Aurora's name became legend, symbolizing courage and resilience in the face of impossible odds. Weeks later, Ryan stood on his porch, gazing up at the stars. The scars of battle lingered. The Aurora was beyond repair, but the lessons learned would guide humanity forward. Emily joined him, handing him a cup of coffee. "What happens now?" she asked. Ryan took a sip, his eyes reflecting the night sky. "Now we rebuild, and we prepare, because if the Krylos come back, we'll be ready." For now, peace had been restored. But Ryan knew the universe was vast and unpredictable. Humanity had proven its strength, but the fight for survival was far from over.